Hi, I'm Bob Hill. I want you to be my attorney, but I don't want to pay you by the hour. I want to pay you one flat monthly fee, so I want to talk to you about who I am and about the services the family needs, and then you tell me how much what the monthly fee is going to be, and I'll write you that check. Now, I'm married, we have 2 children, one's a teenage driver, and I travel, so keep that in mind as we go through this. I need legal advice from time to time. When I say from time to time, I might want to call somebody 3 or 4 times a day. Maybe I call at 9 o'clock in the morning and talk about real estate. Maybe I call at 11 and want to ask a question about bankruptcy. Maybe at 2 o'clock I've got a landlord issue that I want to talk about. Maybe at 5 o'clock there's an immigration question that I've got. I want to be able to call up and talk with somebody that has an expertise in those areas, any of those areas that I feel I need some legal advice and assistance on. Letters and calls. I may have to have you from time to time write a letter for me, or make a joint call, or a call just for me. I've got a friend that had a car wash that damaged the car. They tried for over 2 months to get it fixed, but they couldn't do it. Well, it took one letter from an attorney, and sure enough, 10 days later, the car is fixed, including the cost of the rental car, and that's all it took. Contracts and documents. I can read. I have access to a dictionary. It's not a question of understanding the language or being able to read the document. I need somebody who can tell me about the implications of the document. I have another friend that found out that in the state of Georgia there's a thing called a car prep fee. He looked back at his papers and found that he had spent $750 for a car prep fee. What is a car prep fee? Well, in his instance, it was the vacuuming and washing of the automobile so that the dealer could drive it around and give him a clean, shiny car when he walked out of the showroom. So not only did he pay $750 for a car wash, he financed $750. Don't want that to happen. Georgia is a probate state, which means that our children are property and our physical property is property. In order for us to be able to assure that our wishes for our family and our property are looked at or actually carried out after our death, I know that we're going to have a will. And so I need for those documents to be prepared, and I need for them to be reviewed on an annual basis to ensure that we are still in compliance. We have a much better plan for our children than the state foster care plan. Traffic-related issues. Okay, look, I travel. I'm on the highway a lot. I drive a lot, but in the event we get tickets, if we get a speeding ticket, if we drive through a stop sign or something like that, any driver in the family, I want to have an attorney go to court for us anywhere in the country, because it's not that we won't pay the fine if there's a fine, and we've been caught, is that we want to do everything we can to keep the points off of our driver's license, because that's when it gets to be real expensive. Now, I also know that if we're driving a car anywhere in the country and there's an accident and somebody dies, then the chances are we're going to be charged with vehicular manslaughter or homicide. And look, as long as our driver's license was current, that we had permission to drive the car, and that we were not impaired, no alcohol or drugs or anything like that, we want 100% of our legal defense covered. We want that included in your fee. That's huge. Trial defense. Have you ever been sued? I no longer say no. I just simply say not yet, because I know that one day it's going to come. This is an extremely litigious society. So I want to make sure that we're prepared in the event somebody wants to sue us. So I want you to include in your fee 60 hours for the first year of legal defense. Then I want you to add, though, 60 hours a year for the next 4 years, so that at the end of 5 years, we have 300 hours of legal defense already paid for. Not only is that a big deterrent when you tell somebody who wants to sue us, but I don't want to have to roll over and play dead anymore. Uncle Sam's broke. We're going to pay our just taxes. We're going to fill out our Schedule C. We're not going to try to take Uncle Sam for a ride. We're not going to hide anything. We're not going to bury anything in the backyard. But I understand that Georgia is going to get maybe up to another 500 additional IRS agents. That's another 1,000,000 hours of scrutiny over and above what we already have. It's one thing for me to say I'm going to pay what we owe, and it's another thing for me to try to defend myself or the family, if the IRS comes after us. I want to make sure that if we get into a battle over our Schedule C with the IRS, that at least I have access to a tax attorney. I'll pay everything over the first 50 hours, but I want you to include 50 hours of a tax attorney in your fee. Okay, we can't include everything in this fee. Maybe we want to sue somebody. Maybe there's some pre-existing conditions that you just didn't know anything about. Heaven forbid that there are child custody issues coming down the road, or divorce or bankruptcy. So we'll pay for those things that fall outside of the norm that we're talking about to be included in your fee, your normal hourly rate, but we want a 25% discount. Now, I travel. Kids are going to be off at school one day. I've got teenagers, they're out and about. I want to make sure that every member of the family has access 24/7 in the event of an emergency to an attorney, regardless of where it is or what state we happen to be in. I've got a friend whose son was out with some other friends, 4 guys in a car, late Saturday night, pulled over. It turns out that the driver had put a gun underneath the seat. The other 3 boys didn't know it was there. The driver even told the authorities that it wasn't there. But they were all going to be arrested, and they all were going to be taken to jail. It just so happens that one of the boys, this friend of mine's son, knew that he had Legal Shield, and so he said he wanted to call his attorney. Now, the 2 things that we are given as our constitutional rights: 1, we don't have to really incriminate ourselves, and 2, we have to be allowed to talk to an attorney. We can't call our mother, our brother, or our wife, or our sister, but we have to be allowed to talk to an attorney. So the boy did. He was able to call the attorney. The attorney talked to the authorities, and he was released under his own recognizance. But the other 3 boys ended up in general population from Saturday night till Tuesday midday before they could go before a judge and get a bail bond hearing. Now, I don't know whether you have children or not, but I want to make sure that wherever we are, that our kids and have somebody to call. Who do your kids call if they're out of state and get in trouble? Now tell me, how much of a check do I have to write for you each month in order to cover those services? Nobody is going to take on that assignment. Attorneys are expensive. They charge $250, $350, $450 an hour. Nobody does any of these services as a group for a flat fee, except one company that I'm aware of, and that's Legal Shield. After we became a member and started using their services, we realized just how valuable this service really is. And as a result of that, then I became affiliated with the company. I'm now an independent agent with Legal Shield, and I can sell their products. I would like very much to have an opportunity to just talk to you. Call me at 404-408-6385. That's Bob Hill at 404-408-6385. Let's talk about whether or not Legal Shield is right for you. Thanks for watching.